All right, we're gonna give it a couple minutes. Make sure everything comes up. We're not real good at this live stream thing. We got a tablet here where we're trying to see the live stream come up and watch the chat and everything from the tablet. And of course, we get a commercial. I'm sure you guys all get one too.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, I think we're on there.
Yeah, it's actually looks pretty close.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and start. We've had a fairly busy week this week, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sunday we ended up butchering our chickens. We got those all processed and put in the freezer, and that was a long day, wasn't it?
It always is when we butcher. So.
Yes, it was.
And we still have turkeys to do.
Yeah, we're kind of not really looking forward to that. I feel for the people who do that on a weekly basis, for sure, because we do it like once a year, and it's definitely a big job that day you do it. It's not. It's like the worst day of raising chickens. That's for sure.
Well, and it was cold and rainy, and
yeah,
I guess it was better than doing it in the heat. I don't know.
Yeah, we did it different this year. Instead of doing it like in the heat of the summer, we did it in the cool of October.
Yep.
But
I think our tablet sound is on.
oh, I'll do it. Thanks. We'll
Got to get used to this.
So, so what have you been doing lately?
Well, we harvested our pumpkins and squash, the Hubbard squash, which was the first year we have grown those. So I processed one of those. I wasn't sure if we would like it or not.
She picked the biggest one.
It was huge.
It was huge.
Yeah.
And then she's like got this big knife and she's like trying to cut through it. And I think you're going to get something to start hammering the knife through this squash.
It was huge.
And finally I kind of took over and got it cut in half. Yeah.
Yeah, but I made puree. I ended up with, I think, 14 cups of puree. So I made like a pumpkin bread, like a mock sourdough pumpkin bread with the squash, and it was really good.
Yeah, and it actually looked like pumpkin on the inside. It was like bright orange on the inside, and we tried roasting the seeds like you would pumpkin seeds. Yep. But figured we'd just tell you guys what we've been doing just to kind of start off, kind of let everybody get on the live stream. I tried to hook up the sickle bar mower the other day. Well, I tried to hook it to the small tractor, and it didn't fit on there. It's instead of like 26 inches wide, it's like 32 inches wide. The sickle bar, it's a really wide implement, and it won't hook to the case tractor either. So then I ended up putting it on the big TYM, and the piece that hooks to the top link was broken. So I couldn't use the sickle bar mower. So now the tractor with the sickle bar is in the garage, and I've got some new pieces cut out so I can weld a new top link point onto the sickle bar mower. And that was one of the things I ended up doing this last weekend.
Yeah. Yep. Somebody asked if all our apples are harvested. Yes, but the last couple years hasn't been great.
No, it hadn't. It's been completely organic, and we didn't, spray anything at all. And the one tree that like puts off the most apples is a gala tree that we have, and it was the one tree that the hornets liked. Like there was hornets in a lot of the apples, but that whole tree was completely infested.
And it's not fun to grab an apple and have one of those come out at you.
No, it didn't. So we didn't even actually try to pick apples off of that tree at all, just because it was way worse than the other trees as far as like the hornets were concerned. And I think we maybe pick a little bit late too. But I think for apples you definitely need a spray program. But we had peaches. The one tree had some of the biggest white peaches we've ever had.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
They were like almost softball size.
Yeah, they were huge.
They were really big.
And we have fed pumpkin rinds to the pigs. They love them. There's like nothing left when you give them pumpkin rinds.
And watermelon.
They every single bit of it.
We gave them a pumpkin a night, actually. We had one out here. It was starting to like get holes in it. It was starting to go bad, so we smashed it in the pig pen and let them go after it.
Yep. Teenage farmer wanted to know how long it took us to butcher our chickens. I think we spent probably 5 or 6 hours.
So I got everything ready.
Yeah.
And it was about noon before we actually started butchering the chickens, and it was dark by the time we got done. So 5 hours at least, right?
Yeah. The cleaning takes the longest for sure.
So we've done good. I think we do well with our chicken processing. We've done it enough times that right now, like the slow part is the scalder. Like we were waiting on scalding the chickens. So I think to speed that up, we're gonna have to get a second scalder or do something different there to speed that process up. But it's just a long day. We normally kind of go through and get all our chickens plucked, and then after they're plucked, we go back. We put them in a cooler full of ice, and then we go back and then we actually process them down to the way you would put them in the freezer.
Yeah. And cleaning all the organs and dehydrating those, separating all that stuff out.
Yeah, saving. Yeah, we dehydrate the chicken feet, the hearts and the gizzards for the dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And right now the feet they've been out there. What now? 4 days. They've been out there 4 days. They haven't dehydrated yet, and the dogs are like obsessed with the dehydrator because it's just sitting out on the porch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody asked what our plans for the sheep are.
We have 2 that need to go to market.
Yeah.
We have 2 that we need to go bye-bye. So she's got a ram that she's picked out to keep as a...
He's weathered.
Yeah, he's weathered.
Yep.
So anyway, she's not gonna tell on herself. So he's the best looking one of the bunch too, but she hand feeds him every night. So every night, by the time I do the steers and the pigs, and then I look for chicken eggs randomly, to find out where they're. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But by the time I get into the barnyard, I look and she's like in the barn and she's sitting there hand feeding the sheep every night.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Yeah.
And she wants to keep him to be a companion with the new ram. Mm-hmm. And you decided to name him
Larry and Mo.
Yeah. Her little buddy's Larry. And the new ram is Mo.
Yes.
But yeah, we're planning on breeding them and having a flock and running sheep and cattle together as like a flirt or whatever you want to call it. But that's kind of what our plan is.
Somebody was wanting an update on the Allis Chalmers.
The Allis Chalmers has not changed one bit. I just haven't. It hadn't been a priority, and it's going to come back around here pretty soon because it's going to get winter, and it's been definitely. We haven't had a lot of videos lately, and that's for 2 reasons. One, that generator project I spent a ton of time on, and so I didn't get much else done. And then the weather's been colder, and I've been out in the workshop doing odds and ends. So the weather's changing. I'm definitely going to want to spend more time out there, and I'll get back on the Allis Chalmers here fairly soon, probably in the next month or 2.
Let's see. When's the new fencing project getting started on the new pasture?
So the problem has been the ground, and we've had trouble just even putting in the temporary posts. It rained again today and last night, and I'm kind of got the feeling that I think I'll be able to drill posts here. So I'm going to try this weekend. Actually, I'm going to start putting in some posts around that white pole barn to try to start forming the corral or the area around the white pole barn. So I'll probably start working on that this weekend. As far as the steel oil pipe is concerned, I may put some of those in the ground. I really want to find some bigger oil pipe for posts, so I'm still looking for some 2 7/8 pipe. So anyway, I think I'm going to put in some wooden posts where I'm not sure that it'll stay the same, where it may change over time, and hopefully I'll get to the metal posts here soon. But the steers are leaving November 1st, So they're going to leave in 2 weeks. So anything we can do to make a corral is going to help load the steers over in the next couple weeks. So I really need to get on it. Yep.
Where is it? Drew, Devonshire. Are you running off solar power for this?
I'd have to look. My phone's up there.
Yeah.
I assume well, no, it's been a cloudy day today. You know, it rained all day today. So
Yeah.
There's a good chance that we're still on batteries, I'd say, right now. But I doubt that it fully charged on a day like today since it rained. But we normally run on solar till, well, here lately with the cooler weather, since the air conditioner doesn't run as much, we've been running till about 2 in the morning on batteries. So it's only been from about 2 to 8 in the morning that we're on the grid. So we're like 2/3 off grid.
Oh, teenage farmer. How many cuttings of hay did you get this year? A lot of farmers around us only got 2.
2, that's all I got. So I really considered it, and I looked, and there just wasn't enough there to bale. I mean, I could probably, if I could get the animals out there, it'd be enough to graze on, but it's not enough to cut. So we only got 2 cuttings of hay out there. And the one hay field's got a lot of weeds in it. That's what I was going to do with the sickle bar mower, is I wanted to get out there and just kind of knock all the weeds down before they all went to seed. So maybe I'll get out there when I get that fixed and mow it down a little bit.
Butch White, are you going to seed the new field?
So yeah. So one of the other things I've done off camera is I went around and I did my soil tests. And I went around, I got soil tests from the 2 hay fields from this pasture and the new one up front. And we got the soil test results back last Friday, I think I got them back. So probably going to start liming the field, start fertilizing the field. And I think what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to I think the fall is the best time to plant grass. That's my opinion. So I think in the spring, I'm going to plant like a cover crop in the spring. I'm really considering planting some type of a cover crop in the spring, something that could come up and I could still graze the cattle on. And then in August, terminate that, mow it down, something, and then plant the actual cool season grasses in October. And I would probably actually plant something in the spring that won't live through winter. That way, if it didn't get killed off, it would still die in the wintertime. And then the new grass would grow from fall through winter into the next year. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. I may do like a cover crop in the spring and then replant a perennial pasture in the fall.
How do you like the mini split heater AC in the shop so far?
I do like the Mr. Cool. It doesn't run like all the time, only when I go out there. And there were several times in the summertime I'd go out there and I'd just kick it on for the day or the few hours I was out there and kick the air conditioner on and work out there. And it's nice to have. Last year I used it all winter long. I kept it like the minimum temperature of 62. I didn't realize it actually has a freeze protection setting, and it doesn't say what the temperature is, but you can actually put it to a freeze protection and it'll keep it warm enough to not freeze. I probably wish I would have done that, because I ended up, it does use a lot of electricity, running through the winter. Keeping that 62 degrees all winter long, it's like a second house. And we had our biggest electric bill in January, $300 and some or something. Now our electric bill, I think, is under the 100. It's in the, it's under 100 now, with the solar and everything. But I probably wouldn't. I'd probably run it in freeze protection mode and then turn it up when I went out there if I do it again this winter.
When will you fix the woodshed roof?
I got so many projects, it's ridiculous.
We drive by it every day, so we don't forget about it. It's just not a priority.
It is camouflaged with a lot of weeds right now. It is kind of hidden by the weeds. So as soon as I get the steers loaded and we kind of get the animal situation under control, I'm probably turn back into firewood because we didn't harvest as much firewood these last year, or at least split it. I think there's a ton out there that needs split. But what is split and dried, I probably only have one more year's worth out there. And before I had a couple years built up, or 2 or 3 years built up. So I think this year we'll really empty that shed out. But I do plan on getting out there this winter, and that's when I plan on working on it. On the nice days in the wintertime, go out there and try to work on that shed.
There's been a couple questions about the pond, how it's doing. Someone asked if we caught a fish yet. I have not, but I haven't really.
No, there was one in the bucket the other day on that
Yeah.
for that pond pump. There was
Little bitty.
a little one in there.
Yep.
There's still fish in there. We've seen them. We know there's still some grass carp left too, because we could see one.
It was huge.
Yeah, from up here at the house, you could see it, and that grass carp was swimming on and you could see its fins sticking out of the water, and it looked like a miniature shark, just like going through the water. So we know we still have some grass carp in there. That's good. I did put more fish in. I had ordered fish in the summertime for the fall, before the whole kill off. We had that other kill off. Well, I had to go pick those up a couple weeks ago, and I put some bass in, which I thought I'd have more fish in my pond by this point in time. But so we put some more bass, bluegill, and we ended up putting some fathead minnows in the pond here a few weeks ago. And we just got to wait and see how everything pans out next year. I'm hoping everything's a little bit different. I really like to have a good freeze on the pond to help kind of knock that duckweed down or kill off the duckweed. Last year we never had the pond freeze over. And I think that really helped play into, because and duckweed stayed alive all winter long around the pond. So I'd really like to see a cold winter is what I would like to see. I think that'd help.
Charity Smith wants to know what we think about the small tractor. Want to know if it would be big enough to be the only tractor if you had 12 acres. They just bought land, and they're wondering.
So, so the small tractor is the size of that tractor. I really like the size of it. It's like 5 feet wide, and it's got a nice strong loader on it, but 24 horsepower on 12 acres. I'd say you'd probably be okay, but I think I would say you'd probably want like 30 some. That's just my opinion. Because then you could get up to a few bigger implements to put on the tractor. The size of that tractor, that is a 24 horsepower tractor on like a 40 horsepower frame. So it's a big framed tractor. And it has a lot of benefits, but it's still only 24 horse. So if I wanted to do a 6 foot anything, it would struggle because it's only a 24 horsepower tractor. I think that, maybe if you had 5 acres, I think it'd be really nice. But 12, I'd probably go bigger, really.
A couple people have asked if we are deer hunting, bow hunting, if we still target, shoot, or hunt. We typically deer hunt. This year, I don't think we're going to. We have tons of meat, so and we're really busy, so I just don't know that we will this year.
We only hunted last year because, Rebecca she's competitive. She wanted to be able to get a buck because her brother and her dad always does. And so she got one last year, and she took it to have it mounted, and we're supposed to get it back sometime this year.
November. Sometime, soon.
And she swears we're hanging it up in the house. I don't even have a deer mounted. I always took mine, I just put them in the pond, and I do that European mount where it's just like the bare skull or whatever.
Yep.
But there's another problem too. So we get landowners tags, and I don't know if we got any. I was supposed to send in again. Like, you have to prove that you own land every so many years. You have to send in your deed, like the title to the land, and I don't think they sent us permits this year. We may not even have any permits.
Yeah. Did I get rid of the mouse in my car? I've not seen it. I've had Evan check several times. I'm pretty sure it's gone. I hope. I'm telling myself it's gone. I've not seen any signs of it.
Well, she had something. There's a lot of people who gave suggestions, and I don't know if this came from them or from somebody else.
My boss bought me these bags that it was like a pack of 3 bags. It's like cinnamon and it had some other scents in it that you put around, and it's supposed to deter mice. So I did put those in my car.
Yeah, I got in your car one day and there's like something down in the floorboard. I'm like, what's that? And it says say something about mouse
Repellent.
or something on it. Yeah.
Do we plan on butchering sheep?
No, not this year. Maybe in the future. I mean, I don't think we're not going to probably butcher anything this year either, just because we don't have our room set up for it yet. So.
Yes, we're still both working.
Yeah,
on normal jobs.
Yes, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I saw a couple questions on the drainage in the back of the barn.
Yeah, we never did get back to the drainage thing, mainly because it has been dry. As long as everything's dry, everything's fine. So then it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. I'd say this winter, it'll rear its ugly head again, and the back of that barn will get full of water again. I really do think there's a chance that we could make it drain. I think it'll take some work. I think I really did look for like a jackhammer, and I was gonna rent one day, and I showed up there. They told me they had it. I drove all the way there. I showed up, and then, oh wait, we don't have it. They didn't return it. And then, I don't know. That was probably the end of that. I just didn't go back to that project. But I was going to try to jackhammer up the bottom part of that floor, and then try to dig probably underneath the foundation and try to make some kind of a drain system for that.
Sheridan Park Farms. What's the plans for all that beef? Are you selling any to friends, family, neighbors, more steers next year?
It's all pretty much going to friends and family.
I think this is all spoken for now. So
pretty much. I think there's a quarter beef it's kind of in limbo on who that goes to. But, yep. We're not getting any of it this year ourselves.
Yeah.
This is the first year we're not going to get any of the meat ourselves because we still have our beef from last year and our pork from last year. The only thing we ran out of, of course, was chicken. Yeah, we just have, our freezers are full. I mean, we didn't need any this year for ourselves. First year. So I guess you're truly kind of farming a little bit at that point in time, right? I mean, it goes from homesteading to making your own food to this year we're pretty much almost strictly making food for other people. So.
Somebody asked if I had any thoughts on horses or other types of livestock. I am not a fan of horses. I love animals. I think horses are beautiful, but when I was a kid, I got bit by a horse, and I've just not been a huge fan of them. Like
on your shoulder.
To actually have one.
Yeah.
So, and
they're a lot of work. We looked at donkeys. She really wanted a donkey, and we went and looked at donkeys, and we talked to, and I knew the guy, and we talked about all the things that they were required, of all the filing down their teeth and the hooves, and I can't remember all there was. And the type of feed was like you don't want them to flounder, so you don't want them on a lot of green grass and stuff, which is what our pasture looks like. You want to feed them a little bit of straw mixed with hay or something. I mean, it was just like, man, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we kind of scratched the donkey idea. If we're not going to do donkeys, I'm not going to do horses either.
Yeah. Cinnamon and cloves. I think that is what was in that bag for the mice repellent in my car. Somebody mentioned that.
Apparently it's working because they haven't seemed to be back in our car.
Yes. Any barn owl houses to help the mouse population?
No, we have big owl. We have big, huge, I don't know what you would call those.
I don't know either.
They're the big owls, the ones that's got a head about like, I don't know, like a grapefruit or something. I mean, they're the ones that stand like 18 inches tall, and they are amazing to listen to in the evening because they start echoing back and forth with each other.
I'm always scared they're going to carry Maggie off when she goes outside because she's tiny.
Yeah, well, Drew, pretty sure he had a little toy dog get taken by some type of bird.
Yeah. Sorry, I got behind. I was listening to you.
Sorry.
Somebody has a 75 horsepower TYM. Want to trade it for a 40 horsepower.
Oh, really?
They have 50 acres. Do you think I should make the trade since I can't do small jobs with the 75?
I don't know. That if it's the 750, what is it? The 754. That's the exact same engine as mine, except yours is like turbocharged, and I really do like that Deutz engine that's in that TYM. But yeah, I think the 40, like most of my tractors are, I think about all my tractors around the 50 horsepower range, at least the old ones. So I think 40 to 50 horsepower is a nice size to do about anything with, really.
Somebody said Maggie heard her name popped up in the background. Yeah, she's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Someone had asked what our favorite meat birds were to raise.
So the last 2 years, we've been buying these Cornish cross chickens from Meyer Hatchery in Ohio, and they have been bigger than the Cornish cross ones we've got from like Cackle Hatchery. The biggest one we had this year was 9 pounds, 11 ounces before we butchered it, and then it ended up being about 7.25, 7.5 pounds, something like that when it was done and frozen. So they're big chickens. The Cornish cross, and they just grow so fast. I mean, I'd rather get it done and over with, be done.
If they got much bigger, they weren't going to fit in those bags.
Yeah, they were almost too big for the shrink bags.
Yep. Are you going to pasture the front field or use it for more hay?
Okay, so that I guess so the plan is to actually plant a hay graze mix, and that way I can use it for pasture most of the year, but then I can also cut it for hay, especially like probably at the beginning of spring when the grass is growing so quick you can't graze it fast enough. And then I'm probably going to put a center, this is going to sound weird maybe, like a center fence kind of down the middle, where I can make paddocks off of it and then kind of rotationally graze them around the field off of that center fence. And then, but it'll still all have the whole length of the field, so I can still, I think, go through there and cut it for hay and bale it. So that's kind of the plan. It'll be like a hay graze mix, and I'll probably do a little closer to what Pete does over at Just a Few Acres Farms, where he cuts his pasture and grazes it. That's what I plan on doing up there, because I think we're going to end up needing additional hay besides what we have in the back.
Somebody asked what the name of the house, the company of our house.
Oh, this is a Country Mark.
Country Mark. Yep.
Country Mark log home. Ed Demery. What was this? I can't trying to think what his wife's name was. Anyway, they're in southern Indiana, kind of over by the Clifty Falls. I think that's right. Vervey, Indiana.
Yeah.
And that's where we ended up getting it from. It's like a log. They do. I mean, everything's all custom. That you get your floor plan, and he's an architect, or a mechanical engineer, and they'll draw out everything exactly the way you want it. And then all of the log siding and the big log siding back here, like the 12-inch stuff, they all make that. They have their own sawmill, and they make that. They make the wooden beams in the ceiling, like the wooden beams for the staircase. And that's like a part of your kit. Other than that, everything else is regular construction lumber, like 2x6 walls. It's just log siding, but that's where we got it. Country Mark Log Homes.
Oh. We have not done a ton of canning this year. We did the apples. The tomatoes are in the freezer.
Which they need to come out.
Yes.
We're going to need freezer space. So But we haven't done a ton of canning. We'll actually probably do some chicken broth.
We need to do a lot of broth.
We need to do
Yeah.
a lot of broth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll probably do some of that stuff. But yeah, we didn't do a ton of canning this year.
No, the purees that I made, I froze.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to test the PTO generator on the house?
No, I didn't. I've been actually, that's another thing I've been working on off camera is I've decided to take that generator where you plug in the generator. It goes to the solar system, but in case for some reason there was a problem there, I wanted it to be able to just directly power my house and skip that. So I split that generator feed, and I was waiting for an interlock for the panel. So I've got an interlock on that panel. And now that generator goes two places. So now I can kind of select whether I take it to the solar power system and power everything through there, or I can just flip a couple breakers and I can just directly power the house. And I have not tested it yet. I have stick tights all over me. I'm picking them off while we're sitting here. We went over to the pond dam earlier, and there's a few stick tight bushes over there.
A couple people had mentioned, they said you should paint the propane tank like a cow. I thought that was pretty clever.
Somebody sent me. Did somebody send me a picture the other day? Or they may have posted it on the Facebook video, but it was a watermelon. It was like the whole tank was a big watermelon. I thought that was kind of neat, but yeah, a pig. I've seen those. They'll do those on the tanks where the cover's on the end. A lot of times, and the cover will be like the nose. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm still baking treats for the pigs. Yes, they get all the leftover of anything I make.
Well, okay. So tell a story on that. So the other night, we haven't been getting chicken eggs, so we've been going down to where we're only getting like a couple chicken eggs a day, and
we figured it was just that time of year.
we didn't know if it was the time of year. Like, well, maybe we need to turn the light on in the coop, give them some more light so that they can lay eggs. So the other night, I decided after I fed the steers and the pigs, I started looking through the barn, and I found a ton of chicken eggs, and they were behind some like old windows and stuff that we had saved, and got to looking. We found 79 chicken eggs in the barn 2 nights ago.
Yep.
And so Rebecca ended up putting them in the sink, and there were several that had been there for a while. So there was 24 that floated, and anyway, the pigs got a bunch of eggs. They weren't, but they were still good enough for the pigs. So they got those.
Have you thought about using barbed wire for the paddock fencing and still use predator wire for the border on the new front acreage?
So the only place I use barbed wire is just on the bottom of the fence between the ground and the field fencing, and that's just to keep something from trying to crawl or dig under the fence. I really want to stay away from using it on the top of the fence or anywhere else. This whole property was barbed wire. I mean, it was a mixture. But out here where our house was, there was like 3 strands of barbed wire that came all the way out here to the pond and back to the barn. And that was a horse pasture. And we had to clean all that up. It's just terrible stuff to mess with.
I think there's still some rolls of it back in the woods.
And there's still big rolls and stuff. I remember Scout one day got down in the woods, and somehow there was some barbed wire in the woods, and he got it around his neck, and he was stuck there. And luckily he didn't try to fight it too much, and I had to go down there. I think I had to cut the wire, because then he's got that thick fur coat, and it started like getting in his fur and like kind of, and I had to like cut it out of Scout so he could get out of that barbed wire. So only on the bottom of the fence next to the ground, I think, is the only place I'll use it. I'll use electric. I'll use that. I'll put electric on top, or I'll use that for fence divisions. I don't plan on using barb.
Yeah. Couple people are late, so a couple people are still asking about the pond and the Allis Chalmers. Nothing going on with the Allis Chalmers, by the way, if you're late.
Yeah, Allis Chalmers here, and then when it gets winter time, we'll work on it again. The pond, hoping the winter cold weather will kill it off.
Yeah.
It's still got duckweed.
How often do you have a veterinary visit? We don't. We've had a vet here one time, and that was when we
Had the goats.
first got goats.
Like first got the goats.
Yes. So,
We can't get one to come out,
yeah.
typically. I mean, we haven't had no success. And that, whoever that lady was, she was not that far away. The vet was
Yeah.
close, and that vet does not do that anymore. They're just like a pet. They used to be like a farm vet, and they changed. They're more of a pet vet now.
Yeah.
And everywhere that's a farm vet is too far away. They ain't coming over here. They pretty much will give you a subscription and wish you luck. That's,
Yeah, most people, I think the majority of people around us just learn to kind of take care of your animals yourself. I mean,
Absolutely.
you just kind of,
You kind of have to get thrown into the fire. You
Yeah.
know, you got to learn it. And
Yeah.
and the bad thing is, it's a bad way to learn when you have an animal dying on you.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the average price of farmland in our area? I don't know. It's
I
been,
don't know. Somebody was trying to tell me the other day that, well, it wasn't farmland. I think it's really going to matter whether it's woods, whether it's what we would call bottom land, if it's like a creek bottom or a river bottom where it tends to flood, or whether it's true farmland, and whether it's irrigated farmland. I think like irrigated farmland, I think you're looking 10,000 plus an acre, probably, or more. I mean, farmland, I don't know what farmland is around here. It's hard telling. I've never had to buy. I bought this. It's been a while.
yeah. That's what a couple people want to know, if we plan to buy more land.
Not at the moment. If we were offered land. We actually were offered the property kind of to the side of us, and we thought about it for about a week, and it was all farmland. It was exactly what it was. It was just fields, and to me, it was not exactly what I would want, I guess. I mean, so we ended up turning that down. We didn't take that offer. The property on the other side of us is a mixture of woods and farmland, and it's got a little bit more rolling hills, a little bit bottom land in it. That property has the creek from our pond flows into it. I would definitely consider that property, but I know that'll never come up for sale.
Yeah. Have you ever given any thought about an outdoor wood boiler, as Dale Wallace?
No. I honestly, the fireplace that we have in here, we use that to heat the house most of the winter when it's cold. You know, if it warms up, we'll turn the heat pump back on. But and we can heat this house all winter usually on 2-3 cords of wood. And a wood boiler, you have to fire. Once you start it, you don't stop it, right? You just got to keep feeding it. And yes, it's cleaner. You're not bringing wood and bugs and dust and dirt into your house. Rebecca would probably like that, not having that, because there is a level of filth, like dirt, that comes with heating wood in your house. But I would probably burn 4 times as much wood using a wood boiler, at least 3 times as much wood. So that's why I wouldn't do it.
Do you have enough property to get landowner hunting tags here in Illinois? We
Yes.
do.
Yes, and then they sent me a thing, said I needed to reapply for the landowner's tags, and I forgot to send it in, so we didn't get any tags this year.
Yeah.
So,
We have, what, 41
we
acres.
usually, the great thing about the landowner's tag is yeah, you can get any tag you want, you know. So we get archery tags, firearm tags for deer. We get the turkey tags. You can hunt turkeys all season instead of just like a specific week. So we typically get 20 tags or something a year, and yeah, I don't think we got any this year. So
A couple people have asked about the dogs and how they like their kennel. They actually love it. At nighttime, they know when it's time to go to bed, and they get all excited to go to their kennel. And Sydney's usually the first one. She like races you to the door. She can't wait to get in there. You can hardly open the door before she's like running in and getting all comfy on her bed. So they do like their kennel very much.
And I just turned the air conditioner off in it the other day. So they have a window air conditioner, which I would put one of those mini splits in there. I would consider buying a mini split, but she wants to keep the dogs comfortable, so they have a air conditioner in there in the summertime, so they can come in and stay cool while we're at work in there in the kennel. So they have a very, I don't know, comfortable existence, I'd say.
Yeah.
They're not in the kennel right now. I mean, they're outside running around. I don't know. It's every once in a while we might see them. They're outside running around right now.
Yeah.
They like to chase everything at night and guard the property.
Yeah. Somebody asked if your dad farms, and somebody said because your dad does have a lot of toys.
My dad's retired, and he has a lot of toys. Yeah. I like to borrow his stuff. That's for sure. He's got a 24 horsepower John Deere that we've used on the channel in the past. He's got a lot of toys. He does not farm. They have 20 acres out in the country that he goes and plays around on. But no, he's not a farmer. He's always been a small engine guy. He's always been a big mower. He still mows yards for people. I hate to say his age. What is he, 72? Yeah, he's like 72 years old. And he's still mowing yards for people as kind of a side gig. And he used to have like a little side business where he repaired people's lawnmowers, and would work on small engines and stuff like that. So that's always kind of been one of his things
He keeps busy like Evan does.
Yeah, so he likes the tractor because he's retired. He likes the tractor to do different things out there and around town. In the winter time, he goes around and he snow plows the whole town and all the parking lots and just does it to do it. It's like his enjoyment. So
there were a couple questions about Starlink. How you like the Starlink for streaming?
Well, we're doing it right now on Starlink. It's working fine.
Yeah.
You really kind of just forget about it. The only time is we actually had there was a Starlink outage, I think it happened worldwide, like a month ago or something. And that was the really only time that it's failed on us, besides when we first got it. When we first got it, the unit they sent me didn't work, and I had to ship it back and wait for another one. But it's worked flawless since then. And I bought a couple Wi-Fi deals now where it's extended and it's over in the pole barn. So I have the Starlink in the workshop as well. And we may end up, if it works good enough, we could live stream from inside the workshop at some point in time.
What's your plans for the old deep well?
So you need to find more questions for you. So that deep well was not deep well at all, right? I pumped it down and it ended up only being like 6 feet down from the top of the pipe. So that well was like a 20-inch casing or a 20-inch clay pipe vertical in the ground, and it only went down like 6 feet. I think at the time there was only about 5 feet of water in it, and I was able to pump that well out really quickly with that 1 horsepower pump. I don't know what my plans are for it. I thought about going out there with the trash pump and seeing if I could kind of pump out the bottom, see if it's silted in a little bit, see if I can get a little more depth out of it, or maybe even climb down in there, because it's only this deep. I'd just be almost like standing in it. My head would be sticking out almost. It's that short. So I really would still like to use it because I wouldn't want to pay to have it well dug if I didn't have to. It would probably work good enough for filling up water troughs. And if I did that, I'll probably tear down the building around it and I'll build a whole new building around it and put a pump on it and put a cap on it because it's just open. I'd probably and at least cover the well up so nothing can get in it. But I have no idea what I'm going to do there. I think I still need to do some investigation on how much time and effort I would put into such a shallow well.
Somebody asked if we have siblings. I have a younger brother, and he has an older sister.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
and now I have a couple questions for me. So,
There you go.
what are my favorite boots? So Justin boots are probably my favorite boots that I wear. Other than the muck boots, I really like those too.
Yeah, we probably have had 4 or 5 pair of muck
Yeah,
boots.
I wear those quite a bit.
We've wore the soles off of them,
Yeah.
where we've had to throw a couple away.
Yeah. Somebody asked what type of animal would be my dream animal to raise on the farm, even if it might be impossible. Actually, I've raised all my dream animals. Like we've gotten everything that I've wanted. Now donkeys, that was something that I always thought I wanted.
Those donkeys were they were nice.
Yes, they were.
But
I think they would be super cute to listen to and see out there. But yeah. How long have I been a nurse? 16 years. Yeah, no, 17 years going on. Yeah, it's been 17 years. Long enough I can't remember. It's been a while.
In the hospital.
Yeah.
The whole time. I mean, you've actually worked at
I've had side jobs.
You've worked at another hospital, nursing home, and she's actually worked in a prison.
Yes.
While still working at the hospital. That's when she was working 2 jobs.
Yes. Yeah. Ever considered drilling a water well in your pasture?
Not like go pay somebody to drill a water well. I don't think I'm considered that. I have considered trying to do one of those little homemade ones where you sit there and you try to drill out your own well by hand or with a water jet or something like that and just make you a little hand pump. I thought I like experimenting and just building things. So that would be something I would definitely probably try, but I don't think I'm considering, I guess at this moment in time, drilling a well.
Somebody had a weird question. That's what they said. They want to know how we never have sweat rings on our hats.
Oh, we do.
I'm
surprised you haven't noted. Like this one is like, I have 2 of these. So I've got one style that's got this vent on the back. It's darker. And it would be completely white from the salt of all the sweat in the summertime. And I'd have to keep washing the salt from the sweat out of this hat. It was terrible.
And I wash my hat every week. So, yep.
Yeah, kind of. A weird question. You're right.
I had to throw it in there. What video platform do you use to edit and post your videos?
Filmora 12, I think, is what I'm using. Used it for 3 or 4 years now.
Do I have any hobbies like sewing? I've had several, I've done knitting. I really like to read. You can probably see there's like a stack of books over there. I got books stacked everywhere. And then baking. Those are probably the biggest things. Fishing.
Which we haven't been able to fish.
Did you check to see how much voltage you got zapped by in the last video?
No, I didn't. Nope. Hot. That's all we knew. We knew it was very hot. Yeah, it was plenty. Yeah, and I still don't understand how I got shocked necessarily because I was grabbing both alligator clips. So I don't know if I somehow was grabbing the alligator clip where the wire was crimped on or what, but as soon as I hooked the hot wire up first. I shouldn't have done that. And it got me good.
Did we go to the Covered Bridge Festival? No.
Probably the first year we haven't.
Yeah.
Didn't feel the need to, I guess, or desire to.
Yeah. I recently saw some drone shots in your latest video. Will we be seeing more of that and perhaps some overviews of the property?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get the drone in more videos. So one, I had broke it like early in the year, I think it was when I was spreading grass seed on the pasture in the spring, or on the hayfield in the spring. I crashed it. And then I had to get parts and I had to resolder everything and I fixed it myself. And then the other problem was my phone, the USB port has to work to fly the drone. And then my phone, the USB port stopped working on it. So I had to buy a whole new phone to use the drone. And I just recently finally replaced my phone. But that's the reason why the drone wasn't in the videos is I had to buy a phone to fly it, and that's a pretty expensive endeavor.
Several people commented that they laughed when you got zapped.
Yeah, I think I kind of laughed the first time I got zapped, but then when I got zapped like again 2 seconds later, surprised I didn't actually say a swear word, not second time.
Do you butcher your old layer hens? I've seen a couple people ask that, or what do we do with them?
We have.
Yeah.
We haven't lately because we just kind of keep them. They just die on us.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a buff out there, Buff Orpington, that we've had for 4 or 5 years out there. Probably not laying a single egg. We just keep it.
When are you going to finish the Allis Chalmers? Who
That's a common
knows?
thing. Hopefully, you'll get to put it back together this winter.
Yes. Several people have been zapped, so I guess you don't have to feel so bad. Are you going to widen the path to your hay field?
I think I do need to widen it again.
Yeah.
I think some people, last time I widened it, cut down a tree, I know some people like wanted to tear me up because I cut down a live tree. But what is it? That haybine is like 12 feet wide. And it is tight getting that haybine into the field, that Heston hay mower. And I know I need to cut a few more trees because I am really close to crashing that thing going in there. So we may end up widening it a little bit more this winter time. I'd really like to find a way to get the animals from the barn out to that hay field and figure out a way where I can graze it as well is what I would really like to do. I really at least have the option to do that.
Any plans to relocate the shooting range since we've kind of made it
No, I don't think so.
grazing area?
Well, it's only a temporary grazing area.
Yeah.
You know, no, I don't think that we'll relocate it.
Do we have 5 children? No, we do not.
5.
2, but they're grown and they're gone, and they are not interested in our YouTube. So,
we didn't do any of this stuff when our kids were growing up. This is all kind of after the kids went to college. We came out here and started raising livestock. So raising livestock's all a new thing that our kids didn't grow up doing.
are you using solar exclusively for your house now?
No. We're about 2/3 on solar, about 1/3 off on the grid. So I would need more batteries is what I would really need. So we may do some more projects. I'm actually looking at doing solar on the farm side, and I'm considering taking the farm off grid and just get rid of the electric meter over there and the electric bill on the farm. And there's not a huge power requirement on that side. I may do something over there on the farm side.
Oh, David White, will you do a video showing trailer demo completed? Over there at the cemetery?
Oh, so if you guys saw the video where there was the double wide trailer on the far side of our property that we'd never shown before, we tore that down. That is now just a trailer, 2 trailer frames, bolted together on some concrete blocks. That's all that's left over there. And we need to move that over here to use it for a bridge for the pond. That's the idea, at least, or at least one half of it for a bridge. Mm-hmm. So what I'm gonna do is the turkeys are out there on that wagon gear frame, like a turkey roost. Once the turkeys have gone to freezer camp, I think I'm gonna take one of them wagon running gear and I'm going to lengthen it so it's like a 20-some foot long wagon, and then I'm gonna try to use that to help haul the frames of the trailer through the 12-acre field in the front and then up to here. That way I don't have to go drive it necessarily down the road. So that's the idea, is once the turkeys are gone, I can start looking at methods to try to move those trailer frames over here so that we can maybe build a bridge next year.
Are we going to AI the milk cows or get a bull?
So there's a guy around here that's, I'm not gonna say names, but there's a guy that everybody says this is the guy. He does all the AI. That's what he kind of does. I called him probably 5 times and left messages, and he would not reply to me. And Rebecca all of a sudden sends him a Facebook message the other day. He replied right back.
Well, some people I think get on Messenger, I don't know, like would rather reply to a message that they can just type out than return a phone call maybe.
Yeah. And basically, he's not going to come do one cow.
Right, unless he's in the area.
He need to be in the area and doing some to do ours. And we've asked another farm about a bull, about renting a bull. I need to call him back because he was waiting to make sure his last cow was not going to go back into heat. And then he also said another farmer in their group did AI, and that they might be able to help me out and do AI. So I need to call him back. That's probably our best bet.
Yeah.
Is just help from a local farmer, because the guy who professionally does AI, he only wants to probably do a cow. It's a lot of trouble for somebody.
House.
I have. In fact, when this pole barn had a ton of plans to do this pole barn over here, I considered building like a glass kind of house on the side of the pole barn where the actual processing room is now, where we're gonna be able to process our vegetables and our animals and stuff. I thought about making like a glass kind of, room attached to the south side of that building and making like a little greenhouse on the side of that. And that ended up scratched. We didn't end up doing that, of course, but I thought that would work good because then it would stay somewhat warm in the wintertime off of the workshop, and then you might be able to grow food year round. I still think it's a fairly good idea, but I think even like a high tunnel or something would be nice to have. But the garden thing is kind of hard for us to keep up with everything else.
Yeah. Our signal got a little, it was all like you couldn't really see us, but it's back now. So hopefully you guys can see us again.
Yeah, whoever was asking about the Starlink earlier, the only time we have trouble with Starlink is when it's like stormy. I mean, if it's like a lot of clouds and storming, the Starlink will go out.
Have you made any plans for the root cellar?
No, I wish I mean, I have plans in my head. So
We've talked about a root cellar for
several
years.
So there's several things we want to do on this side of the property, and one's a root cellar, and the other is, Rebecca, we've always talked about having like an outdoor picnic shelter. Something with like 4 picnic tables, like a built-in fire pit. And in my mind, I see where you could build a root cellar, and then you put the concrete as the roof, and then you kind of build over that with your picnic shelter, and then you have picnic shelter with the roots underneath. I think that'd be pretty cool, but plans are plans, right? They take forever to actually come true. So
Yeah. What's left to do on your 2023 goal list?
too many things. I looked at that the other day.
Yeah.
I need to revisit that, but there's only a month, 2 months and a half left. It's getting tight.
Yeah.
We've been on here for an hour.
I know. It's gone by
It
quickly.
actually, when you're answering questions like this, it's amazing how quick that this actually goes. Probably kind of boring for you guys on the other end, but it goes fast for us for sure.
Yeah.
So
There's people from all over. Somebody from Sri Lanka, Brazil. It's crazy.
answer one more question, or?
Sure. sure. One more question. Type your best question. Okay.
Do I think about competing with Pete's dad jokes? No. When I saw Pete at the farm show, I considered trying to find a dad joke book so that I could give it to him as a gift, so he'd have plenty of,
I have
material to work with.
I have a feeling he probably has a few.
He may have, or
Yeah.
a few good websites to look them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any plans to do more lives?
So the reason we did this live tonight is because I didn't have any videos this week. Since we processed the chickens, we didn't have anything to share with anybody what we're doing here. So we just thought we'd get on and just talk to people and interact with them instead.
Yeah.
So-
We had my son the oldest turned 25 last weekend. So we had that. It was very busy.
We always do like a go out to dinner kind of thing for any of our, it's kind of like our family tradition. When
Yeah.
it's whoever's birthday is, they get to pick the place. We all go out to eat together. And then the processing the chickens. And I mean, we just didn't get anything really done this last weekend too much, at least on video. So we thought we'd do the live stream just to kind of, I guess, interact with you guys instead. So will we do more live streams? I think, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we will. It's just going to be kind of filler from here and there. I think we do like a couple a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We look too young to have grown children. Thank you. They make us
thanks.
feel old.
No, we're starting to feel old.
Yeah.
We're starting to both lose our vision.
Yes, I need reading glasses. Yep.
But yeah, we probably better call it on this live stream.
Yep. We gotta get up early in the morning. We got stuff to do.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. So we'll see you in the next video, which will probably be in a few days. Once we get something done around here.
Yep.
So
Thank you guys.
yeah. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.